Hello, Turbo.
Hello, teacher. I can see we are going to learn more about circles today.
Yes, today we are going to learn how to solve problems that involve finding the circumference of circles, semicircles, and quadrants. Can you remember how to find the circumference of a circle?
Yes, we take pi times diameter.
Good. Sometimes we are given the radius. We can also take pi times 2 times radius.
Yes, that's because 2 times radius equals diameter.
We can make use of the formula to find the circumference of a semicircle. Let's look at this circle. If we are to cut it into 2, we will get a semicircle. The circumference of the semicircle is therefore half the circumference of the circle.
So, the formula for finding the circumference of a semicircle is half times pi times diameter. The diameter of this circle is 7 centimeters. Thus, the circumference of its semicircle is half times 22 over 7 times 7, which is 11 centimeters.
Good. However, finding the perimeter of a semicircle is different. The perimeter of a semicircle includes both its circumference and its diameter. Therefore, the perimeter of this semicircle is 11 centimeters plus 7 centimeters, which is 18 centimeters.
What about finding the circumference of a quadrant?
A quadrant is a circle that is cut into 4 equal pieces. Similarly, the circumference of the quadrant is 1/4 of that of the circle. Thus, the formula for finding the circumference of a quadrant is 1/4 times pi times diameter. The diameter of this circle is 7 centimeters. Thus, the circumference of its quadrant is 1/4 times 22 over 7 times 7, which is 5.5 centimeters.
All right, I think I can find the perimeter of the quadrant. The perimeter of a quadrant is its circumference plus radius plus radius. Thus, the perimeter of this quadrant equals to 5.5 centimeters plus 3.5 centimeters plus 3.5 centimeters, which is 12.5 centimeters.
Very good. Look at this figure here. What shape is it, Turbo?
I can't quite make out what it is, but it looks like a seashell to me.
Well, it does look a bit like a seashell. In fact, this figure is made up of 2 semicircles of different sizes. The diameter of the bigger semicircle is 14 centimeters, while the diameter of the smaller semicircle is 7 centimeters. Do you think you can find the perimeter of the figure?
I will try. The perimeter of the figure is made up of the circumference of the bigger semicircle plus the circumference of the smaller semicircle plus the length AB. The circumference of the bigger circle is half times pi times diameter, which is half times 22 over 7 times 14. It is 22 centimeters long. The circumference of the smaller circle is half times pi times diameter, which is half times 22 over 7 times 7. It is 11 centimeters long. The length AB is the radius of the bigger semicircle, so it is 14 divided by 2, which is equals to 7 centimeters long. Thus, the perimeter of the figure is 22 centimeters plus 11 centimeters plus 7 centimeters, which is equals to 40 centimeters.
Excellent work, Turbo. Let's take a look at the different sum. We have a piece of rope here. Can you find its length?
The
length of the rope is made up of the circumference of a semicircle and the circumference of a quadrant. The semicircle and the quadrant have the same diameter of 10 meters.
I see. I think I can solve it now. The circumference of the semicircle is half times pi times diameter, which is half times 3.14 times 10 meters. It is 15.7 meters. The circumference of the quadrant is 1/4 times pi times diameter, which is 1/4 times 3.14 times 10 meters. It is 7.85 meters. The length of the rope is 15.7 meters plus 7.85 meters, which is 23.55 meters.
That's correct. There is another way to calculate the length of the rope. Both the semicircle and quadrant have the same diameter, which means I can move the quadrant as such to join the semicircle to form 3/4 of a circle. Thus, the length of the rope is 3/4 times pi times diameter, which is 3/4 times 3.14 times 10 meters. The length of the rope is 23.55 meters long.
Oh, this is interesting. By cutting the figures up, we will get basic shapes which we can easily find their perimeters or circumferences.
That's right. We can also rearrange the figure to form basic shapes, just like what we have done earlier. So far, we have only worked with figures that are made up of 2 basic shapes. Let's try one that has a figure which is made up of 3 basic shapes. Can you find the perimeter of this figure?
This figure looks like a helmet, but I don't think I know how to find its perimeter.
Turbo Girl, you have good imagination. To find the perimeter, we have to cut the figure into basic shapes. In this case, the shapes are semicircle, square, and triangle. Thus, the perimeter includes the circumference of the semicircle, 2 sides of the square, and 2 sides of the triangle. The diameter of the semicircle is also a side of the square. Thus, the circumference of the semicircle is half times 3.14 times 8 centimeters, which is 12.56 centimeters. The perimeter of the figure equals to 12.56 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 11 centimeters, and that is 47.56 centimeters.
Okay, I know how to solve such problems now.
So, Turbo Girl, can you tell me what you have learned today?
I have learned that the circumference of a semicircle is half times pi times diameter, and the circumference of a quadrant is 1/4 times pi times diameter. If a figure is made up of 2 or more basic shapes, we have to cut it into the basic shapes. Then, we can easily find their perimeters or circumferences. We can also rearrange pieces of the figure to form basic shapes. That also allows us to find their perimeters easily.
Turbo Girl, that's correct. However, you have to remember not to include and count the length of the lines that are within the figures. That's all for today's lesson. See you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.